You buried someone you loved, and since that day you've been walking through life like a ghost in your own skin. Waking up, going through the motions, smiling when you're supposed to. Yet inside you've been lying in that grave too. You didn't just lose them, you lost yourself, your purpose, the sound of your own voice when you pray. And somewhere deep down, in that place no one sees, you wonder if God buried you alive when He took them away. And if you feel like you died with what you lost, this isn't just a video. This is your resurrection call. You don't cry anymore, not because you healed, but because you ran out of tears and no one noticed. And you still go to church, lift your hands, mouth the words to the worship songs, but you don't feel Him anymore. You look at old photos and can't remember what it felt like to be whole. And when you talk to people, it's like watching yourself from outside your body, helping everyone, showing up, serving. But when you're alone, when the house is quiet and the night is long, you wonder if this is all there is now. Surviving, breathing, existing, but not living. Carrying this weight so long that you forgot what it feels like to stand up straight. And the worst part, the part that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. is the guilt. Guilty for laughing, for wanting to move forward, for feeling that moving on is betrayal, forgetting letting them die twice. You sit in silence and the silence screams at you. You drive alone and suddenly you're crying without even knowing why. You see couples holding hands and something inside you twists. You hear their name and your chest tightens. You walk past their favorite place and have to look away. You keep their things exactly where they left them because moving them feels like erasing them. And sometimes you talk to them in your head, asking if they miss you, if they're proud, if they know how much it still hurts. You wonder if heaven is real, if they're really there, if God is still good when good people die and broken ones like you are left behind. You smile at work, laugh at jokes, tell everyone you're fine. But fine is just a word you use so people stop asking because the real answer is too heavy, too dark, too much. So you carry it alone while the weight keeps crushing you. Here's what really happened. When you lost them, or that dream, or that version of yourself you thought would last forever, something shattered inside you that no one prepared you for. Because grief isn't just sadness. It's an earthquake that breaks your foundation. And you've been trying to rebuild a home on broken ground, wondering why nothing feels stable anymore. You weren't taught how to grieve. You were taught how to be strong, how to have faith, how to trust God's plan. But no one told you that faith doesn't erase pain, that trust doesn't silence the screams inside your chest, that you can believe in heaven and still feel like hell every day. So you did what you thought you had to do. You buried the pain, the questions, the anger at God, and you kept moving because that's what people expected. That's what faith looked like to everyone watching. But here is the truth they never told you. You can't bury pain and expect it to stay dead because it doesn't decompose. It grows roots in the dark and now it's everywhere. In your insomnia, your fear of loving again, your guilt for smiling, your self-punishment for wanting peace when they're gone. You didn't fail God. You didn't fail them. You just survived the only way you knew how. But survival was never the destination. It was the bridge. And you've lived on that bridge for so long, you forgot there is solid ground on the other side. God didn't save you from the grave just to leave you hanging between life and death. He saved you because your story isn't over. Your purpose didn't die when they did. And there is still something in you that the world needs. Something forged in the fire of this loss. You've been living like you died with them, like your story ended when theirs did, like God closed your book when He closed their casket. But listen, you're still breathing and every breath is proof that God isn't done writing. You think it's cruel that you're still here? That you're serving a sentence for a crime you didn't commit? But what if it's not punishment? What if it's purpose? What if the reason you didn't die is because your mission didn't? What if everything you lost was God stripping away what was never meant to stay so He could rebuild you into who you were always meant to become? You didn't lose yourself. You lost a version of you that couldn't carry where God is taking you next. That version was loved, but limited. And God in His brutal mercy had to break that life apart, to build something deeper, stronger, truer. Because loss gives you access to pain most people run from, to questions they fear to ask, to faith that only exists when everything else is gone. You're not broken beyond repair. You're broken open for purpose. And yes, I know it sounds insane. I know it feels like I'm minimizing your pain. But I'm not. I'm telling you your pain has meaning. That God didn't look away when you lost everything. He was there. In the hospital, at the funeral, in the sleepless nights, in the moment you screamed His name. He's still here, not with explanations but with presence, not with answers, but with purpose. The problem isn't that you're still in pain, It is that you've been treating your pain like a tomb instead of a womb, waiting to die, while God waits for you to be reborn. And rebirth is violent, painful, terrifying, but it's the only way forward. You can't undo what happened, can't bring them back, can't rewind time. This loss is real, this pain is real. But so is this breath, this moment, this chance to choose life again. So stop asking God why He took them and start asking what He's trying to birth in you through this. Because the pain you carry isn't meaningless. It's labor. You're not dying. You're giving birth to a version of yourself that could only exist through loss. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's brutal. But quitting isn't an option. Because they're gone and you're here, and the only way to honor what you lost is to live with the kind of fire that proves their impact did not die with them. Start small. Today, right now. Do one thing that feels like life instead of survival. Pray even if all you can do is cry, laugh even if it feels like betrayal. Rest even if guilt whispers otherwise. Call that friend, open that Bible, take that walk. Every small act of life is an act of resurrection. And resurrection isn't pretty. It's messy, raw, terrifying, but it's real, and it's yours. God didn't bring you this far to bury you. He brought you here to rebuild you. I'm not telling you to forget them or pretend it does not hurt. I'm telling you to integrate it, to let the loss become part of your story instead of its end, to carry them with you instead of being buried with them. They would want you to live, to heal, to find joy again. If they're watching from heaven, they were not disappointed that you were still here. They were cheering for you to rise. You didn't die with what you lost, you just forgot how to live without it. Living isn't forgetting, it's letting pain carve space inside you for deeper faith. It's looking at the grave and saying, you took someone I love, but you didn't take me. I'm still here, I'm still His, I'm still becoming. The life you lost is over, but the one God has for you is just beginning. And it starts the moment you decide that surviving isn't enough, that you weren't kept alive just to exist, but to rise. So rise. Even if you rise crying, broken, alone, slowly, 1 inch at a time, because God doesn't need you whole, He just needs you willing. And if you're still here, still listening, then you are willing. You just didn't know it yet. This is your sign. You didn't die, you were being prepared for resurrection. And resurrection always starts in the dark, always begins in the tomb, always blooms when everything seems finished. But then a stone rolls away, light breaks through, and a voice calls your name. Come out, your time in the grave is over. It's time to live again.